Welcome to the Living the Dream podcast with Curveball. If you believe, you can achieve. Welcome to the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, a show where I interview guests that teach, motivate, and inspire. Today, I am joined by non-toxic natural healthcare expert, Sara Jayne. In 2015, Sara faced the panic attack, and she knew that she needed to get her life on the right track. After she got her life on the right track, she is now focused on helping others live their best lives. So we're going to be talking to her about her story and how she is helping people live their best lives. Sara, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Why don't you start off by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
So I am a chiropractor by day, and I had been a chiropractor for a few years. And I had 2 kids, and I had 2 locations that I practiced in, and it to be a lot. And that's when the panic attack set in 2015. And my husband called the ambulance because neither one of us knew what was going on. It was in the middle of the night. And I remember getting ready for the ambulance thinking, I don't know if I'm going to come back here. You know, I went and kissed my kids goodbye because I didn't know what was happening. I thought maybe I was having a stroke with some of the symptoms I was having. Went to the emergency room and they ran a bunch of tests. And at this point in life, I'm 33 years old. And so thinking I'm healthy, right? And I go up there and he tells me, this is a panic attack. And I just kind of look at him like, huh? Like, why would I have a panic attack? I don't have any problems with that. And he gave me a list of about 4 medications that he wanted me to get. And my husband was sitting in the chair and he was super concerned this whole time before we hear it's a panic attack. And I looked at him and I said, I don't know if I'm going to fill these medications. I got to get to this problem. And he said, we can't do this again. And I said, no, I know. And that started me on my journey to figure out how to help heal myself. And once I healed myself, and I continue to heal myself, because let's be real, you can't just do one thing and then you're good. This is a lifetime process. I have dedicated myself to trying to help others as well. And I want to make sure that people know I am not saying do not take medications. Absolutely not. Everyone needs to do what is good for them, what is recommended by their doctor. It's a very personal thing. I did choose a natural route and I was fortunate that that helped me, but I do have many patients and friends that are on medication, and you have to do what is right for you.
So tell us about the natural route that you use to heal yourself.
Well, honestly, it was kind of multifaceted. I knew that one thing wasn't just going to help. So I closed one of my practices because I knew that the stress load was just too much. And I think at some point we do need to reevaluate everything that we throw on our plates. And I know for me, being a mom and a business owner and a wife, I just thought that I should be able to do it all and I should be able to do it well. And just came to find out I needed to back off and I needed to take care of myself, because if we don't take care of ourselves, it's really hard to help take care of other people. So I closed one of my locations within the next 4 months and I just focused on one of them. And then I reached out to my nutraceutical company that I was working with and got on some supplements. They called me. There was a class coming up. So I started going to classes, learning how to help people detox and live a healthier lifestyle. And I also sought mental health. I saw a therapist. I had seen a therapist, a couple actually in the past, and it was more of a, how do you feel? How does this make you feel? And I went to a different therapist who really made me understand my worth and what I was capable of. And I did have to take a step back and evaluate all of those aspects in order to heal. So now what I do is, so if someone has been to a chiropractor and you're thinking, oh, I don't believe in chiropractors, I am not here to convince you about anything, because we are all free to choose what we do. I don't want to say believe in, because it is what it is. But what I would like to say is, if you, let's say, have had a bad experience with a chiropractor, you probably would never go back. Whereas if you would go to a dentist or a medical doctor, an eye doctor, if you have a bad experience, you're going to find another one. Maybe you're not going to go to that one, but you're going to find another one. A lot of times people will have a bad experience with a chiropractor and then they're done because they're all crazy or they were rough or whatever. Chiropractors are so different. You have some that just adjust and some adjust rough, some are gentle, some do nutritional stuff, some do more blood work. We are all so different. So I used some of my colleagues that were chiropractors that all specialize in something different to help me as well. So don't think that chiropractors are just, in and out and it's a very impersonal thing, because I think that being a chiropractor, I enjoy that I am able to take a little more time with my patients and I can build a relationship with them, and then I can help refer, like if I think maybe they do need to talk to a professional about mental health. And we have a great system in my town. I work well with the medical community here because not one person is an end all be all. So we do adjust people. We work on them physically. We help them emotionally. We change their diets. We put them on supplements, but we don't do all of these things at once because change can be difficult. And if we try to implement too much change, then usually it's not going to work. We don't want to put you on supplements, adjust you, change your diet. Now you're going to see a therapist. That's too much. Like that in itself is stressful. So we just gradually work with the patient where they are in life. And sometimes we don't do everything with every patient. But what I recommend in my office is called the Fab Five. We have 5 supplements that I think are really good for everyone to take. And it's missing usually in our daily nutritional intake. So if we can supplement those things and help people naturally, it's actually very rewarding.
So tell us about the Fab Five. What supplements are we missing in our daily foods that we need to have, and how do we go about getting them?
All right. Well, I am more than happy to help anyone. So I like a probiotic. A probiotic is a good thing to do. Probiotics are very different. And if you go to a big chain store, here's what's frustrating to me. We can go to a big chain store and you can walk down the aisle of the supplements and you see tons and tons of supplements. Some of them you've never heard of before. Some of them you heard of, Dr. Oz talk about it. So now you're convinced that you need it. But it is a personalized thing. So you can get a probiotic for what exactly you need. And that's going to change. You're never, in my world, in my people and in myself, we're not ever the same. Sometimes we're more stressed, and maybe some people have been on antibiotics, and maybe some people having some digestive issues. So we got to find out what kind of probiotic. That was a long explanation for a probiotic, wasn't it? A good multivitamin. I had a chiropractor friend of mine say that one of her patients is a plumber, and he said it was very common for them to find multivitamins at the bottom of septic tanks. And so it's very important to get a good multivitamin because you don't want to be wasting your money. Vitamin D, I live in the northern states, and so that's definitely something that is lacking here. Fish oil is very important for hair, skin, nails, heart, blood vessels, brain. And a good fish oil is very important. Again, you go in and you just buy one off the shelf. You don't know the quality of it. And if you don't know the quality of it, maybe it is actually doing more harm than good. The last thing is maybe the tastiest thing, and it's called fruits and greens. There's 20 servings of fruits and vegetables in one scoop, several different flavors. Yes, I do drink it every day. I have 3 children. They drink it every day. My employee drinks it every day. So I am also a big believer in practicing what you preach. I will not ask my patients to do something that I wouldn't myself do or have done, because I think if I don't do it, I don't really have the credibility. So the Fab Five is a really easy place to start. And it's actually an inexpensive place to start too, which is really nice. And then as time goes on, you can just tweak it to whatever works for you.
So you talk about getting good quality supplements, and how would a person know what a good quality supplement is? And do you have any recommendations where you can get good quality substance? Because I've heard that a lot of the supplements in the store are synthetic. They're not real and natural.
Yes. I'm glad that you said that, because I have had so many people who will say, I'm not taking any supplements. All that stuff does is go down the toilet. Well, in the case of those multivitamins, absolutely they did. Actually, I also have heard some doctors and NPs say that they've seen the multivitamins on x-rays. So we're not digesting those, so those aren't good for us. When I use Nutridyne supplements, and the reason I like Nutridyne is that they do 3 different testing procedures on each batch of supplements that goes out. So you know that it is a good batch, and everything has its own batch number, and they are very specific on it. I find that important. And I was told recently, I actually did a podcast with a guy from Nutridyne, and we were talking about the importance of fish oil. And he was talking about how some of the less expensive companies will actually use types of plastic in their products. And that is absolutely horrifying, actually. And some people think that, well, yeah, but if I'm doing better quality, it's more expensive, and then I can just take a bunch of these other ones that I buy at the big box store and I don't have to spend that kind of money. Well, when you look at it, you're going to have to take so many of those. You're actually going to spend more money buying at those stores than you are just buying directly through Nutridyne. And I'm more than happy to provide you with a website on that. I'm more than happy for anyone to message me and ask me about stuff like this, because this is important. And if you're going and you're just buying these random supplements off the shelf and we don't know if they're good quality, I would seriously rather you not do it, because you don't, if there's plastic in some of these, you don't want to put that in your body. That's not good for you. Or if you're buying supplements that you're not digesting, so your body's not using it, that's a waste of money. And I just don't think that people have money to burn. And I don't think that people have a lot of time to waste on stuff like this. So I think it's nice for me, because I do like to help people, but it's nice for people because they don't have to waste the time on the research, and they don't have to waste the time looking for this stuff, because I can direct you on where you need to go. Don't want to say direct you, guide you. What I like to do is I say that this is a journey. You're in the driver's seat and I'm the passenger, but we decide where we need to go.
Why do you feel like the FDA doesn't push supplements and more health stuff? Because 73% of people are obese, and like you said, you got companies that have plastic in their supplements. So why do you feel that is?
It is often overlooked, and sometimes when we don't, there's so many different supplement companies, right? And there's so much going on. Sometimes I think this stuff just gets overlooked, and I do tell people this, whether it's right or wrong, but when a person takes up, there's not money in healthy people, right? If your blood pressure is good and your cholesterol is good and your weight is good and whatever, there's no money to be made off you. And I'm not saying that people are purposely making other people sick. I'm just saying that the healthy people, I don't want to say they're even catered to. I just don't think that there's enough research into all of this to push it. And I really don't think that there's a lot of money behind it, because people aren't getting rich off selling D3 and fish oil.
Yeah, but it would be helpful. I guess if you're making money off sick people, then I guess you can see why that happens. You said that you had a podcast. So tell us about your podcast and what you talk about on your podcast, how people can listen.
So what I like was when you reached out to me and I checked you out and I looked at your podcast. I was excited because my podcast focuses on encouraging people to do better, be better, live better. And you've had a lot of guests on your show, which I think fit that mold. So I was excited to talk to you because I think that you and I, it seems, without knowing you, it seems that we do look for the positive aspects and the good stories. So I do the podcast because I live in a town of 1,200. There's only so many people I can reach that walk into my office or live in my town. So by doing the podcast, I can reach more people. And I can also bring on guests from all over to tell us about their stories. So I have had a lot of different natural healthcare providers on that have talked about different things. And I think that's so exciting because a lot of time, we don't know what we don't know. So if we haven't heard about different, maybe emotional healing or energy stuff, that can really help some people. And a lot of times we just kind of go throughout life and we're in this little box and maybe we're on autopilot. We do the same things day in, day out. Maybe we do the same things that our parents did, and we don't get out of that comfort zone, so we don't learn about stuff. So Fast Lane with Sara Jayne, I started in 2020, and just once a week I have pretty much a feel-good story on there, or I have an alternative healthcare provider on there encouraging people again to live better, do better, be better. So I also have a website, which is purelysarajayne.com, and on there I have a blog, and then you can find all my podcasts. And I'm a mom of 3, and so I do write a lot about that stuff, and there's different links to supplements you can find. There's ways to contact me. You can listen to the podcast. You can read the blog. I just knew, I guess for a long time, I just knew that I wanted to help people. And I just think that's my purpose. And I think that I help more people by doing the podcast. And it's very rewarding when you get messages out them that says, hey, I really like that podcast. I reached out to so-and-so and they really helped me. And I can't help everyone. I am not the end all be all. And some people will come to me and we'll do supplements and we'll do detoxing and we'll do diets and there's still a missing piece. And I'll say, I don't know what else we can do, but let's find someone who maybe can take us in the next path. So it's very important, I think, to have a team of people that you rely on for your health and not just one. But I enjoy being a piece of the puzzle for people.
Did you want to give out that Nutridyne resource, or would you just rather them go to your website full of supplement information?
There, okay, so I'd have to check. I think it's Klein Chiropractic. Let me double check, but I will. I honestly, Curtis, it's embarrassing. I don't know exactly what that is off the top of my head. I can share that site with you, but it is on, if you just scroll down on my first page, one of the buttons will say fewer toxins. I'm big into non-toxic living too, because I have kids around and I've called poison control more than enough times. So I completely went toxin free in my home. So I don't need to worry about what anyone might get into. So I'm big into non-toxic living and the supplements, and all of those can be found right on that page.
Okay, let's talk about detox. What's the best way or best things that you have found that's good for detox?
So in our office, we do some foot baths, and so that does help bring toxins out. But then we also can find out what kind of a detox someone needs. Sometimes people have gallbladder issues, and some people have gut issues, and some people have liver issues. And the nice thing that Nutridyne has done is they have pretty much packaged that stuff up and not necessarily made it one size fits all, but one size fits most. And a lot of them are 10-day detoxes. Some of them are a month, and some of them you have to change your diet, and some of them you don't. We just have to find out what works best for the person. And the supplements and the food, an easy place to start. And then sometimes we have to emotionally detox because sometimes we just have pent up stuff that maybe we don't even know has been bothering us for the past 5, 10, 15, 24 years that we need to release as well. And so we just figure out what symptoms a person is having, and then we can find out exactly what they might need to detox.
Well, you answered the contact question. So are there any projects, current, upcoming, that you're working on that people need to know about?
So I'm finishing a book, and I've been really good at starting 6 of them because I'll just have random thoughts and I will write them down. But I'm finishing one called Life is a Highway, and it's discussing how life is like a highway and we are like the vehicle on the road of life. And the funny thing is, Curtis, is that a lot of people treat their vehicle better than they treat their body because they're getting their regular oil changes, they're getting their tires rotated, but they don't do that for themselves. So a lot of times people will come in, and let's just say it's for back pain, because I'm a chiropractor. And so that's what mostly, people are there for, because they don't know about the nutritional aspect of it all. And they will come in and barely walking. And I'll say, how long has this been going on? And it's been going on for a long time. And I'll say, why do you wait until you basically have 4 flat tires before you come in and see me? And they laugh and they're like, oh yeah, you're right. And I said, that's why it is important to do regular maintenance, because it's good to be proactive and not always have to be reactive. So the book just really just talks about life and how we're all on this highway and we're all on this journey of life.
All right. And where can we get that book?
That will also be on my website and should be at the end of October.
Perfect. You got any closing remarks before we close it out?
I think it's really important that we take a look at our lives, whatever stage of life we're in. And obviously, I do talk to a lot of moms because I can relate to them, but it's very important to relate to people wherever and they are in their journey of life. And we're all at a different stage, and each stage needs to be respected. But we also need to respect ourselves, because a lot of times we will put ourselves on the back burner to take care of everyone else around us. If we do not take care of ourselves, it is pretty much impossible to take care of the people around us. Had I not taken care of myself, grabbed my health by the reins and got a hold of it, I don't know, what kind of mom would I be? What kind of wife, what kind of provider, what kind of friend, what kind of daughter, what kind of sister? I wouldn't be as good as I know that I could have been. I like to help people reach their best potential. So if you think that I could help you in any small way, please reach out to me, because I'm more than happy to try to help you on this journey of life.
And go ahead and throw out that website one more time.
PurelySarahJayne.com. And you can just right on the homepage, all the links will be on the homepage. So if you just go to PurelySarahJayne.com, you will find all of my things.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Sara Jayne. And please be sure to follow, rate, review, share this episode to as many people as possible after listening. And Android listeners, go to the Google Play Store and download the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast app. Sara Jayne, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
For more information on the Living the Dream podcast, visit www.djcurveball.com. Until next time, stay focused on living the dream.